Welcome to the finest women in real estate, everyone. I'm your host, Rick Amato. No, I'm not a woman. However, I'm being joined by three of the finest women in real estate who you'll meet right now. Let's meet our first guest, and that is Rebecca Ciastko. Now, Rebecca, we're going to get to know you a little bit better in today's show, but you are a featured agent. You're a realtor and an architect, I should say. You're a featured agent in upcoming shows. We'll talk about that in today's show. Also in studio with us is real estate agent, owner of United One Realty in Southern California, Pauline Woelky. Pauline, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
And you're doing some very, very exciting stuff here in SoCal. We're going to learn about that in today's show.
Awesome.
And dressed in black, not men in black, but finest woman in black and a guy in black, is Kimberly Whitfield, co-founder of Solar Brokers out of Northern California, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, let's start with you, Kimberly. How did you get started in the solar industry?
Well, Rick, I definitely didn't start there as in my adult career. I was actually in fashion originally, but really had a passion to clean up the world and do something for the world. My brother introduced me to the CEO of a company called Power, and their vision was to really Uberize the solar and renewable energy industry. And at that time I had another business. I had zero interest in doing anything in another industry, but it wouldn't leave me alone. So got started there, and then a lot came from that, obviously.
And obviously your timing, I don't know when this was, but timing couldn't have been better, I would imagine.
Absolutely, yeah, 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Solar is just, here in California, it's a place to be, huh?
It's the only place to be, unless you want to be at the mercy of the utility rates increasing every year at rates that are just crazy.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the fashion bug has not left you.
Thank you.
And I like, in a show like this where so many people within the industry across America are watching, I like when we reveal and unveil what it is that your secret passions are and how you got into the careers that you got into, which leads me to Pauline. Pauline, not only are you a realtor in Southern California, you have a tremendous energy level. You have a great reputation for someone who's involved as a leader in organizations all around the region. Give us an idea of some of those organizations you're involved with.
Yeah, so I've been an agent for several years, and kind of one day decided that I wanted to give back to my community, and the way I thought I could do that was through my association. So I was kind of touched by another agent saying, you should be part of our young professional network, and by doing that, it kind of opened doors to being a chair for the Young Professional Network, which helps the community in Temecula Valley. They raise funds for charities, and then became a board of director with our local association, SRCAR. And from there, been branched out to just Hospice of the Valley, being on the board of advisory there, and then being a CAR director, and just been traveling. Yes, so California Association Realtor director. So I get to travel and learn and get to network with a bunch of other agents and get to do great things.
That's a lot going on.
A little bit.
and you told us the benefit of CRA, that being networking, but what would you say the benefits to you are for these other organizations that you're involved with?
Well, to me, I feel you do better within yourselves when you're reaching out and trying to reach out in the community and learning from others. You kind of learn from yourself a little bit more. So that's a big benefit. Obviously, the networking side, I don't know everything. So to be able to network with agents like you said, you're from NorCal, which is awesome. So I get to network with agents from Northern California, which is great. They do things different from Southern California, and to just kind of keep growing my business. So.
Another thing just kind of hit me here. You're a mother.
Yes.
You're, a real estate agent. Those two things are extremely time-consuming in of themselves.
Yes. And
you add these other projects you're involved with. How do you manage to keep it all balanced and productive?
Well, time management. Again, technology helps a lot. So, like before I came here, I was at a leadership retreat with RYPN, and being able to do that and then come straight here, which is great. So a big part is time management, getting the right people surrounded to help you grow also helps as well.
Well, I got to learn from you this technology point, because it sure seems to me, Kimberly, that as technology advances, more people contact me faster. And it takes my, that was supposed to be humor. All right. Kimberly Whitfield. Excuse me, Rebecca Ciastko. I'm sorry, Kimberly. Rebecca, architect and realtor. Very, very interesting combination. But let's add to that, featured agent on upcoming episodes of Finest Women in Real Estate. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's great.
What are we going to learn about Rebecca Ciastko, do you suppose?
Well, hopefully I can show people that, so in my profession in architecture, branching over the gap between architecture and construction or real estate development, and then also in real estate. So hopefully what I can show people is that there is a value that the design adds to real estate development. I work with a lot of investors doing a lot of real estate development versus just, like the home buyers. It's more in development side. So that's what I'm aiming to show people, is that there's a value in design. There's a value that architecture, the practice of architecture, adds to the real estate profession, I guess.
So do you think, as from the real estate perspective, if you're able to talk to your clients about the architecture value, as you say, that adds value to the relationship?
100%. It adds value to the relationship, but it also adds value to the transaction, if you will. The people don't buy, businesses don't buy products. People in a business buy products. And when you're talking about home sales, people who are going to live in those homes, they're buying how they feel in that home. And architecture, absolutely, design influences the way we think, we feel, we live, all of those things. So I think there should be more emphasis on that, and especially in my relationships with my clients. I really pay attention to how they feel and how they react when they walk into a space or a home, and that's what guides me.
That makes sense. That makes sense. We have people across America here watching the four of us tonight, and a lot of the folks watching are in the real estate industry itself. Yeah. Okay. When we come back from this break, I'm going to ask each of you, what makes you unique within your industry, and what is it that perhaps other folks in the industry can learn from you, take away from you as they further their careers? I'm Rick Amato. This is the Finest Women in Real Estate. We're back after this.
Hello, I'm John Ruff, owner of Ruff & Ready Moving and Storage. Wherever you're moving, our team is eager to assist you with all your moving and storage needs. You can count on us to pack and handle your personal belongings with care. We also provide both temporary and long-term storage for your household or office goods. For more information or to schedule a free in-home estimate, visit us at ruffandreadymoving.com or call us today. From down the street to across the country, if your move is too tough, call Ruff.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Oh, yeah. Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
All right, welcome back to the Finest Women in Real Estate. I'm Rick Amato, and again, I'm obviously not a woman, but as you have seen and will see, I'm joined by three of the finest women in real estate. Ladies, I want to talk about what makes you unique and why that's important to me, I think, or important to our viewers. Two reasons. One, if someone's a consumer out there, that alone makes it important. If someone is in the industry and trying to grow their career, as so many of our viewers are, I think that also adds value and perspective. And it's cliche-ish but each of you are involved in a people business.
Yeah.
It sounds cliche-ish, but sometimes there's reasons that a cliche is a cliche. I just made that up. All right. Let's go to Kimberly Whitfield. You, as you said, you're the co-founder of Solar Brokers. You got in that business 3 years ago. Timing could not have been more better here in California. You work with realtors, obviously. What would you like to know, those realtors here in California, what would you like for them to know about what makes you unique?
Thank you, Rick. Well, so I formed Solar Brokers, or co-founded Solar Brokers, so that I could utilize the Power platform to really educate homeowners and business owners and real estate agents about what solar truly means for the people of our world. And so there's a big stigma in real estate around solar. I think I've heard real estate agents say the best house is one that has nothing to do with solar at all. However, however, there are obviously a lot of homes in California, Northern and Southern California, that have solar on the roof, and it's to save money.
I was not aware of the stigma. Why the stigma?
So the stigma is because of the old model of solar, and the old model was a lease and a PPA. And so it was tied to the home for 20 years, and so the new homeowner coming in, and of course the real estate agents figured all that out the hard way. It makes the transactions very difficult. And so what I really want people to know is that model has shifted. We've now moved to an ownership model, and real estate agents and homeowners and business owners can actually come to me, and I can help them navigate the stuff that's maybe not so good about the former installations, and navigate, of course, the great things about what we're moving into.
All right, and briefly, give us an idea, what is the so-called ownership model?
So the ownership model, for most people, just like you finance a house, you finance a car, you'd finance your solar. And so
Your solar. Your solar.
Your solar. Your solar.
Right.
So walking into solar with no money out of pocket day one, especially in all of California, especially here in Southern California, you walk into savings day one, even though you're financing your system.
Okay, that's a big difference. Yeah. Pauline,
Yes.
you've got a great reputation here in Southern California. You're doing, as we learned in the previous segment, a lot of stuff. What makes you unique? What should your potential clients know and other realtors know about Pauline Woelky?
Okay, so I have to be honest. This question always kind of gets you a little flustered, because you're like, there's so many people in the world and so many agents in the business, and you asking me what makes me so unique. And I have to say that one, I'm not any any car salesman type. It's pretty much my unique, my authenticity, I'm genuine.
Authenticity.
Yes, exactly. And I really do care about my buyers and sellers. I really do care about my community. I really care about how the whole transactional part starts from start to finish. So it's just my educating my clients, and then being able to make sure that everything goes exactly how they should, and I think that's my uniqueness. So.
Oh, I would think that authenticity is a huge asset.
Yeah, I mean, it's I agree. So, but it's, again, I think that when you're in this business and you have so many different types of characters out there, that sometimes that gets lost a little bit, and so hopefully I can bring that back and bring our name as realtors, a actual, genuine, really hardworking people that will do good for you.
And I like the way you said realtor. I say realtor. Each of you, we'll get Rebecca here in a moment, but as I listened to Pauline speak, it hit me that each of you come across very enthusiastic and happy, genuinely, you mentioned authenticity, genuinely happy about the field of work that you're in. You agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be hard to disagree with that one.
Yeah. It's hard to do this job. I mean, being in real estate without really loving what you do, because it's time consuming. It can be exhausting. So you have to really be in it every day.
Which leads me to this, Rebecca. What are we going to learn about Rebecca Ciastko, the featured agent in upcoming episodes of Finest Women in Real Estate?
To learn about me, I don't know. I think my background is a little bit unique. Architecture, being in construction management, and also being in real estate, each of those fields can be very demanding on their own.
Sure.
And when I started in architecture and then sort of transitioned into construction management, because adapting in the economy and all of that, I realized that there was a gap between architecture and contractors, or architects and contractors, and I really worked very hard to try and bridge that gap and make sure each of them understood the value of each other's roles. And then as I sort of grew into real estate, I realized that there also was a gap between sort of real estate developers and architects and really the end consumer. And so now my work is very passion driven toward making sure that everyone communicates together. Each project is done within the context that it's within, and it's done for the right reasons.
Were you an architect first?
I studied architecture first. I have my bachelor's in architecture, and then I went into construction management, and then actually only became a real estate agent. I became a realtor a little over a year ago, maybe 18 months ago.
And so what drove you to become a realtor?
Knowing that architects don't build buildings, developers do, and that was the one piece of the puzzle that I was missing. Working with a lot of investors who also dabble in real estate, they do a lot of their own real estate transactions to try and save themselves a buck, but they're still missing a few pieces sometimes in that. So knowing that I see my future, I know what goal I'm heading toward, and it's the next step getting me there.
Interesting. As I mentioned a few times tonight, so many people watching the show are in the industry. And what I'd like to ask each of you is, what's your one or two pieces of advice that you would give to someone that is either looking to get in the industry or is set but looking to hope like anyone else, wanting to expand and grow? Now I know you're in solar panels, but we'll get your perspective from that angle. Let's start with you, Kimberly. We keep your answer brief. We may have to get the full answer on the other side. Okay. In fact, let's hold that answer for a moment. I want to get the full answer without interruption. We'll find out what these finest women in real estate advise those of you looking at the career or looking to grow your career. I'm Rick Amato, back after this.
Hello, I'm John Ruff, owner of Ruff & Ready Moving and Storage. Wherever you're moving, our team is eager to assist you with all your moving and storage needs. You can count on us to pack and handle your personal belongings with care. We also provide both temporary and long-term storage for your household or office goods. For more information or to schedule a free in-home estimate, visit us at ruffandreadymoving.com or call us today. From down the street to across the country, if your move is too tough, call Ruff.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Oh, yeah. Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
All right, welcome back to Finest Women in Real Estate. I'm Rick Amato. Before the break, I asked the question, what advice might you have for someone looking to get in the industry? Let's broaden that or make it more bold, if you will. And we'll start, as we often have throughout the show, with Kimberly. Again, founder of Solar Panels. What advice would you have for realtors, from your expert perspective, on how to grow their business?
So Rick, I don't know if you know this, but by 2045, California has put a law in place that the entirety of California has to be 100% renewable energy. So I would say everyone is going to go solar. All the bills that start in California get passed across the US for the entirety of the rest of the nation. So I would say you want to be educated around solar. You want to know how to handle the homes that have solar and how to talk to your homeowners and educate them about it, because as we move forward, every home is going to have solar on their roof.
All right, so those in the real estate industry better get to know that product. Pauline, you are the ambassador here on the set with all the organizations you're involved in. What advice do you have?
Well, first, I always say step out of your comfort zone. That's a big thing. I've learned so much from doing that, being here with you. And by just doing that, being part of Finest Women in Real Estate, I would have never met her and had any idea of what she does, because my perspective on solar was completely different. And again, you have a great niche, and I would have never known about that either. So you're always growing in that way. And being part of the board of directors, I get to really take positions on things that matter, property rights, and different bills that are out there that protect property rights.
It's a very interesting answer you gave.
Okay.
Because when you hear growth, you could say, well, how to grow my business, or how I can grow as a professional.
Right.
And you gave how to grow as a professional, and my question is,
I take this back to my homeowners, to my buyers and sellers.
and does that grow your business?
I would think so, because then they trust me in being knowledgeable of what their expectations are, versus somebody that doesn't know and just kind of fakes it.
Right, yeah. It was an interesting answer, and I liked it.
Okay.
Rebecca, I mean, you've shown growth, personal growth, going from architect to construction consultant to realtor. I didn't say realtor. Realtor.
Still on me about that.
Talk about growth.
Yes.
Tell us about growth.
So personal growth is huge. You guys both talked about being, more educated and growing your own knowledge base so that you can share that with your clientele, and that's huge for me as well. Also, I notice in the real estate industry, you'll see a lot of the online brokerages and things are going a lot more digital, but for me, it's always trying to stay connected to that human aspect. It's always going to be a person that's making that decision, and it's an emotionally driven decision, even with investors. That's why I work with a lot of women investors. They still allow just a little bit of emotion to come into the transaction, but that actually adds value to it. So I would say anybody else coming into the industry, find a niche that you're passionate about, that you can stay driven in, because as real estate grows, as technology grows, as those two merge, there's still a human aspect to it. So
you ladies are sophisticated. Niche and niche. I say niche. No, it's a great answer. It's a great answer. I love the answer of niche or niche. Yeah. I think it's so critical in a lot of businesses. All right, Rebecca Ciastko, Pauline Woelky, and Kimberly Whitfield. Great answers. 3 of the finest women in real estate. We thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm Rick Amato. Remember, check us out on the Edge of America Network, 24/7 on demand on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, and at the Finest Women in Real Estate website. Good night, everybody.